Hey guys, it's Alex. So sorry that it's been a while since my last video. Same intro every time, right? But I wanted to make a video because I have some extra time right now. It's just the weekend and I'm actually not doing anything tonight. Just kind of a night in, and I decided that I would start my college series I'm going to have on my channel. Not sure if I mentioned it in my last video or if, I really had the thought settled, but I might have mentioned it, that, I want to do kind of a college series on my channel over the course of the summer because I will be heading up to Syracuse University in New York in the fall. So I'm really excited about that, and I kind of want to take you along the way, not only the steps I'm taking to get ready, but also kind of tell you how I got here to this point, if that makes sense. So applying, decision making of where you're going to go to school, and then I guess just some tips that I've learned just through going through it. And I'm sure that these are not new. I'm not like making up some new thing and saying that it's like the best idea, and it might not be exactly what works for you for different things, but I wanted to go ahead and share what I've experienced, and maybe it'll help some of you all out. So I want to start by saying that I really think that you should start thinking about maybe not necessarily what you want to do, because my best friend still has no idea what she wants to do, and she's going to a state university in the fall. So I don't think that's necessarily the biggest thing to worry about, but definitely think about where you want to go to college. In-state, out-of-state, small college, big college, all of these things, they've been drilled in my head over and over and over, but really, I had no idea what to expect. Like, what's a big college? I mean, I'm guessing in the thousands, but then apparently, small colleges also have thousands of people, just less thousands of people. So it was all a really big, confusing, jumbled mess in my head. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go in-state or out-of-state. When my dad went to college, he went out-of-state, and we visited his college in the past for like alumni things, and it was a nice distance from home. It was in Maryland. It's Towson University, if anyone is familiar at all. So that's about 3.5 hours away, and I was like, yeah, I think I could deal with 3.5 hours away. And this was my freshman year. It had nothing to do with me touring colleges. We were just there for an event, like I said, and I was like, yeah, thinking about like time away from home and the distance away from home, and I was thinking, this isn't too far. I could deal with this. It'd be easy to get home if I wanted to on a weekend. If I'm like, I just needed some time home away from school or whatever it was. I don't really know what to expect exactly, just from what others have told me. So I definitely thought that that was a good distance, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I think that because I figured out what I wanted to do, that led me to my college. So if I'm going to be a nurse, look into good nursing schools, that kind of thing. So I discovered with that trip that going out of state would be a possibility for me. I could play with some different out of state schools, see if I like them, that kind of thing. And so I think I just kind of started looking. Freshman and sophomore year, I was like, oh, what about this college? What about that college? This, that, this, that. And I live near Charlottesville, Virginia, which is UVA, University of Virginia. Tons of people from my area go there. So I toured that my sophomore year, and I was like, wow, being this close to home is actually cool too. You don't feel like you're that close to home. So, I realized that being 3.5 hours away or not that far away would not be a big deal. The distance didn't matter to me. So that opened up tons of doors. Cost is always a big thing. My family does not have a college savings for me, and just kind of reality of not having that big of an income and kind of having debt over the years of my parents' marriage, and so it played with the whole not having a college savings. I mean, I have, some savings bonds from growing up, but nothing that would cover college, and I'm going to have to take out loans. It's been a reality since, I guess the start of high school when we started thinking about college. So that's something you have to think about. Out-of-state schools, normally more expensive. Private schools, however, normally have a straight across the board tuition. For in-state or out-of-state, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to a private institution, and it's over $50,000. It's going to be so much money, and so I definitely checking into financial aid. I've applied to so many scholarships, and I'm still asking the school for more money, like what can I do, what can you do to help me? I'm doing work study, which is like working, and you get to keep the money that you earn. It doesn't go straight to your tuition, but that'll pay for like trips home since I'm going to be 7.5 hours away. I'm kind of rambling. I don't mean to be. Hopefully you're following, but basically, you know, cost it's definitely a big deal to me. I can't go necessarily like to my school right now. It is out of the reach what I still have to cover. So hopefully scholarships will come in and will help me out, because if not, I'm going to be in debt. But I'm going to Syracuse for broadcast journalism because their Newhouse School of Communications is nationally ranked as one of the best. So I'm going there with a purpose. You know, it's definitely going to give me a lot of opportunities, so I look forward to it, but I just know that it's definitely a huge investment. College overall is going to be one of the biggest investments you make in your life at this point, that you've made in your life until this point. So it's a huge deal, and I mean, it's exciting but really scary. So I covered distance and cost, and those are two of the big things. And then big school, little school. Like I said, it kind of jumbled in my head. I didn't really understand what a big school was, what a little school was, and I guess I've visited UVA, which is a fairly big school, and then I visited other smaller schools that still felt big to me. You know, everything's bigger than my high school. I have about 300 people in my graduating class, which compared to some people is a puny amount, and compared to some people is a huge amount. So it really just kind of depends on where you're from, and I really think that bigger universities will give you a lot more opportunities, and you know, people were like, oh, I don't want to be lost in a crowd of students, and I don't want to be in a 300-person class. And most universities, if you have a 300-person class, send you to like not necessarily remedial classes, but like study groups. It's like it's actually assigned class. You have to go to these study groups, so you get individual attention. If you want individual attention from college professors, from what I've heard from my college and the colleges I've toured, and I've toured quite a few, and I'll get into that, is that no matter what, even if your class is huge, you'll have study groups. So I never felt like size was a big deal. It wasn't really a deciding factor for me, and it might be for you. You're like, whoa, after this certain amount, I just don't think that it's going to be enough. I mean, you might think that it's going to be too big. So yeah, so that's definitely something to think about. The college website that I use that I absolutely 100% recommend is collegeprowler.com. I'll link it in the bottom box. But basically you can go on there, search a major, search any college that you want, and it's all student reviews and then actual facts. And it has facts not only about the tuition, majors, just facts about the university or college, the area, the weather, parties, Greek life, the girls and guys that are there, professors, dorms, well, dorms are housing, food, everything. It covers everything that you would ever want to know about these colleges, and it was honestly like one of the best decisions to like actually go on here. I think I heard about it from, I don't even remember where, but I just heard about it, and it was one of the best decisions I made to go on there and to research colleges, because it just opens you up to all of these different colleges, ones that maybe you've never heard of. I've never heard of Syracuse University before I started researching it, and I started researching broadcast journalism. That's what led me there. So, you know, little things. If you know you want to be in a rural setting college, or you know you want to be in a city setting college, literally go on Google and just type that in. There will be lists everywhere. If you know you want to be in an in-state college, but maybe you don't want to go to the ones that are really well known for some reason, just look up your state's college and a list will appear. So yeah, there's so many what's what I'm looking for, resources that you can use to find colleges, find out more about them, and see if you have any interest in them. So that was definitely a helpful website. There's other websites that I have, you know, clicked on, but that's definitely my main one, and it's also, I think I mentioned this, it's a bunch of student reviews, so I still go on to be like, oh yeah, I heard about this dorm when I was touring, or I heard about this, you know, what do students think about this dorm? And you can honestly get a feel for how college students like the university they're at, and it's just, I don't know, I really like it. It was very informative. I'm not trying to sound like a complete nerd, but honestly, I really think that researching colleges is a major part of deciding where you're going to go, because if you're just like, oh, I know I'm going to go here because so-and-so said it was a great school, so-and-so might be completely opposite from what you are when it comes to knowing what you want for a college. So definitely independent research on what you want to do or where you want to go. Anything like that is very important. Other factors for college, I'm trying to think of like the major points that need to be hit, but I think I've pretty much hit the key ones that would be deciding factors, unless you know what you want to do as a career, and that definitely is what led me to Syracuse and what could lead you to your next school. You know, so many colleges are known for certain things, and it's very helpful if you can get into those colleges that are known for certain majors, because it will just open up opportunities. There's, you need to look at like different alumni resources that the college has. Syracuse, and in particular Newhouse, which is the communication school, has amazing alumni support, and so that will open up jobs and internships, and you know, you can what is it? I can't even think of the word. Network. You can network with alumni. So that's just basically getting to know people that are in the industry that you're going into. You need to know that, you know, if you're going into a particular area of study, like I'm going into broadcasting, New York is a great place for that. So is like Miami, LA, all of these are huge places for broadcasting. So if you're somewhere that you're close enough that you can drive to an internship or train or bus or whatever to an internship, it will open up so many more doors. So location is also key depending on what you're studying. So that pretty much covers all of the things that you need to first think about when you're searching for colleges. You know, you're just weeding out the ones that are not what you're exactly looking for. So that'll help you weed them out, and then you just gotta kind of break down your search more and more. When I started my search and when I was applying for SATs, or not applying, when you're signing up for SATs, which happens in your junior year and your senior year, and some people take them at the end of their sophomore year, go for it, but my best score was my first time. I took the SAT 3 times, in the SAT 2, which is like the subject test. I took 2 of those, and I scored okay on one and then not so great on the other, and my SAT scores were pretty solid. But after that, I don't know why I didn't do better. Some people do much better the second and third time. Some people, like me, stay the same. Like I stay the same my first and third. My second, I dropped a little bit. So I don't really know. I can't really give you any advice on the SAT, like whether or not you should take it, you know, more or less times, but definitely if you think, wow, now that I've got one SAT under my belt, I can definitely do better on the next one, because that's a huge part of applying. So that starts, like I said, junior year for me, but sophomore year definitely if you want to get a head start. But I went into my senior year still doing one. I did one this past October. So those are huge parts, but I would definitely say that junior year, start touring colleges. I did, I toured UVA actually my sophomore year, like I said earlier, because it was actually with Girl Scouts, and they had a Girl Scout day, and my troop went, and actually it was only me and another girl from my troop that went, and she ended up getting into UVA, so that's pretty awesome, that you can, you know, tour a college your sophomore year, and, no, that's where you want to go, but she actually had known this like her entire life, that's where she wanted to go, but still, I'm sure that situation could happen for some. But junior year, I went and started touring colleges. In April, toured Syracuse University, NYU, so New York University, and Columbia University, and I basically just went New York up and around, because that's kind of how the colleges lined up, and then I toured, let's see, I toured Towson, just kind of like I can't really think. I toured Towson and Maryland University, or University of Maryland, this past October, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it was this past October. So I toured those, and I only ended up applying to Syracuse and University of Maryland. The reason that I kind of broke it down like that was because at Syracuse, I applied early because I just knew that's where I wanted to go. It was between that and Maryland, and they both have really great journalism programs. And Syracuse, it had a random date. I think that it was because of Sandy, or, oh gosh, I cannot remember. Is it Sandy? The really bad hurricane. if it's not Saturday, I feel really stupid, but because of that, the deadline was pushed back. It was really weird. I think my applications were due December 1st, and I would hear back my answer from them by December 15th, so it was a huge turnaround, turnover. No, it was a short turnover, but it was a huge deal that it was that close in time, and I had to have my decision back by, like, February 1st or something, and then I applied for Maryland, and I wouldn't know, if I got into Syracuse, if that's what happened, then I wouldn't know about Maryland's decision until after I had heard back. So I ended up getting into Syracuse, and I had to give my decision to Syracuse before I even got my answer from Maryland. So you've definitely got to, if you're not sure about you want to fully commit, Syracuse was early decision, which means that you have to commit if you are accepted into your first college, and that's how it works with a lot of things. It's called with a lot of colleges. It's called binding or not binding, and Syracuse is binding, which means you must commit. But you can apply. You can apply to some colleges early and it not be binding, so you gotta think about that when you're applying to places. I knew that Syracuse was binding, but I also knew that if I got in, that's where I was going. And I ended up getting into University of Maryland as a second semester. So it wasn't the wait list, but they offered me to come in second semester next year, so like the spring semester of next year, which is totally weird and random, and I don't understand why that would ever work. Like, are they expecting people to leave mid-year? I don't really understand, but anyways, that was the opportunity that I got there, and I'm actually not following through with that, as you know, Syracuse. That's where I chose to go. So when I had applied there, and I already wasn't able to hear back from Maryland before I had to decide for Syracuse, I wasn't able to apply to NYU, which is something that I was seriously considering. I ended up that Columbia wasn't for me. They didn't have a journalism undergrad study, and you just basically took like general study undergrad. It was very weird. If you weren't at Columbia, it's like normally your undergrad or engineering. So there's like two different tracks, and I wasn't going on the engineering track, so you were just basically on this basic undergrad like direction. I don't know, it was really strange, and I just wasn't that excited about Columbia, so I decided that I wasn't going to be applying there, but I was considering NYU, and it ended up just not working with the time. It was really strange. So yeah, that's basically kind of just my intro, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. That's what I'm talking about for this video. So basically, key points, just to kind of click them in one more time. I just kind of talked about distance from home, size of the university and how that could affect you, cost, and then opportunities that would be at that school depending on your major. And then I kind of talked a little bit about my experiences with applying to schools. So in future videos, I'm definitely going to try to talk about like the actual application process, things that you should really do first, and just like some helpful tips and not hints because they're not obvious, but they're very easily found, but basically just some tips from the experience that I had applying to colleges. And I'm sorry that I'm talking to my hands so much, but I feel like I do it all the time. Anyways, so I hope you guys have a great day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I will get this up ASAP. Sorry if I rambled for way too long, but I'll see you guys soon. Bye!